Peruvian chicken. Restaurants have been popping up all over the place for it. What makes it so good? It's citrusy, smoky, spicy, just kind of all together in one really nice package. I know that we can make some of those same flavors at home, right here, on the smoker, on the grill. But first, we need to go to an international food store, so field trip time. Exactly what we're looking for. Right. Ají amarillo. Y huacatay. Okay, so back in the kitchen, what we need to do is get our chicken ready to be brined and then eventually rubbed down. We'll just get the chicken ready by blotting it off best we can with a paper towel, just so it's a little easier to handle. Typically you get the chickens in a vacuum seal bag, so you just want to wipe off as much moisture as you can, just again to make it a little bit easier to handle. If you've never worked with a whole chicken before, there are the 2 breasts, 2 wings, 2 thighs, and the legs. For this next part, it takes a little bit of butchery because we're going to actually spatchcock the chicken. And when I say spatchcock, what that means is we're going to essentially lay it flat on the grill. If you're going to make beer can chicken or something, you might want to just kind of shove that in there, or some spices you could shove into the cavity, and you'll get a lot of good flavor there. When you spatchcock a chicken or turkey, when it lays flat, it is a much more even cook with retaining a lot of moisture. So first thing we need to do is cutting up along the spine, and you can just feel for either side. And once you have that removed, and that makes really great stock, then just clean up a little bit of the inside of the chicken. Then we just need to cut the wishbone, which is at the top of the breast, so that way it will lay perfectly flat on the grill. Okay, for the brine, what we need to do is see how much water we actually need to put into our pot. What we're going to do is put our chicken in first and then fill the water up over that. For this 3-pound bird, it was about 2 quarts of water that was able to completely submerge it, and I'll show you why that's important later. Once you have the water that you need, bring all of that up to a boil and add in 1/2 cup of salt. Again, what a brine is doing is there's going to be an exchange of moisture, and in doing so, if we put some more flavor into it, there's also going to be an exchange of moisture and flavor. For the rest of our brine, you'll use 1 tablespoon of brown sugar, 3 to 4 cloves of minced garlic, 2 tablespoons of smoked paprika, and regular paprika is fine, but the smoked gives it a little extra flavor and a little extra heat, 1 tablespoon of cumin, 1.5 teaspoons of black pepper, 1 tablespoon of the ají amarillo paste, 2 teaspoons of the huacatay paste, the juice of 1 lime. Then combine all that together, put the chicken in ready to rock, and what I do is put an old plate on top along with some ice to weigh down the chicken into the brine so that way it doesn't float up. Put that in your refrigerator for at least a couple hours, and if you can, overnight. While we are waiting for our chicken to brine, let's turn our attention to the wet rub. Our wet rub is going to sound pretty similar to our brine, except that we're not going to use the water or the salt. For this, we need 3 to 4 exploding cloves of minced garlic, 2 tablespoons of smoked paprika, 1 tablespoon of cumin, 1 teaspoon of black pepper, 1 tablespoon of the ají amarillo paste, 2 teaspoons of the huacatay paste, the juice of 1 lime, and to that we're going to add the zest of 1 lime and 2 tablespoons of olive oil plus 2 teaspoons of salt. Then mix all of that rub up, and once your chicken is ready to come out of the brine, we're going to kind of do something completely unforgivable to the chicken and peel up the skin so we can actually get the rub onto the meat itself. We're going to do that all over the chicken best we can by putting our finger in and trying to pick up some of the skin off of the meat itself, and just kind of get your hand in there and rub it all over best you can. And we'll do that on the breasts, the thighs, and the legs. After thoroughly violating the chicken, take a little bit of the rub and put it on top of the skin now. You'll know whenever you put enough rub on when you don't see any of the chicken skin color left and your hands kind of look like the fat kid from Matilda eating cake. From there, we're going to take our chicken and put it onto a preheated smoker at 275 degrees, and we're going to let that smoke until we get to an internal temperature of about 160 degrees in the breast and the thighs. While our chicken is smoking, we need to turn our attention to our spicy green sauce. And for this, we're going to start off with about a tablespoon of olive oil in a pan and add 2 cloves of minced garlic. Then saute that in the pan until the garlic becomes fragrant. Okay, from there we need to chop up 2 scallions, 3 jalapeños where we're going to seed 2 of them and leave 1 of them with the seeds to get a little bit of that spice. A half cup of cilantro, 1 lime, then the garlic and olive oil from before. To that we'll add 1/4 cup of Greek yogurt, 3/4 cup of mayonnaise, 1 tablespoon of the ají amarillo, 2 teaspoons of the huacatay, and salt and pepper to taste. Then all we need to do with that is blend it up. Always, always, always take a taste as you're going through. There we have it. This sauce just gets better over the next couple hours, so if your chicken isn't ready from the smoker, in the meantime, just let it rest in the fridge. One of the best purchases I made was a Bluetooth meat thermometer because I was able to see that everything was done internally. Looks like it's nice and crisp on the outside, juicy. And so the last piece to this, and it's the hardest, is we're going to have to let it rest. Just put it under foil for 5 to 10 minutes to let it rest. Now your patience will be rewarded. So let's take the chicken and get it ready for serving. We'll just take a ridiculously sharp knife and cut some of the thigh and leg off, and we'll put it onto a plate ready to be garnished with our spicy green sauce. After spinning the plate around a couple times to get the perfect photo for the gram again, we'll find a perfect place to start with this and cut a little bit off. Dip it in the green sauce, and man, was this a good dish. The flavor was throughout, which we were hoping to get with the brine and then the rub on top. The chicken remained juicy, it was flavorful throughout, and it's definitely one that I'm going to make again. So if you give this a try, please let me know how it turned out. Love to hear. But for now, this is me signing off, and we'll see you next time. That's right, boy. Get in there nice and deep like.
You push the rub on the skin or else it gets the hose again.
Next Amazon purchase, definitely a pair of gloves.